So the reporting cycle normally starts with gathering your requirements before you can actually go on to validate your data sources and your data. Once you have the correct data, you can then go on to build your dashboard, and then you can present that back to your stakeholders. But what I'm here to actually ask you is, why stop there? Wouldn't it be a lot more useful if you added in an extra step and actually analysed the usage of that dashboard, so you could actually continuously customise the dashboards to fit the stakeholders' needs, and also learn from their behaviour on Tableau server? So Tableau does have some default tracking. There's two different methods. The first method is available to all users, and I'm sure you're all aware that if you scroll down to the bottom of one of your dashboards, you can see who has seen this view. That will then populate one of the a little table like this, where you'll have your username, the view name, the last time, the date stamp that they've last viewed it, and the total number of times that that user has viewed it. The second method is actually only available to your site and server admins. Now, they do have 9 different default dashboards available to those admins. So you can see exactly your traffic to your views, who's doing what in the server, how your data sources are performing. But again, what if you actually wanted to customize this data? What if it's not telling you the information that you need? Well, good thing is, all the data is actually available in the Postgres database, and it's available to pretty much anyone who has Tableau server, as long as your admin allows it. So basically, there's 2 different users that you can log in as to be able to access this data. There's the Tableau user and also the read-only user. Now, the Tableau user and the read-only user have access to 19 different views, but the read-only user does have access to the whole entire database, so that's an additional 93 tables. But I'm just going to focus mostly on the view tables. Now, this is a short little diagram which shows how the different tables can be connected to each other. But if you do want to know exactly who's viewing what work bits are getting accessed, then the view stats view table is the one that you kind of want. If you want to know any information about what's actually happening on the server, then you can use the HTTP requests. So more information about how I've actually used it in practice. So I've previously built dashboards to give me all this information. I wanted to know exactly what my users were doing, how they were accessing the data, and what data sources were working and what ones weren't. But what we actually found was that some of our dashboards and our server overall actually had pretty low engagement. Some of our dashboard views per session, it wasn't as high as we expected. We expected users to be able to go in, search, be brought into the server for one dashboard, and to search throughout the server to find any other relevant dashboards, but that wasn't actually happening. And what we also found was not all the tabs and dashboards were actually getting used. So that started us asking questions to the stakeholders. Why aren't you using all the work that we provided? Is it the fact that it's not relevant to them, or is it too confusing? Now, what I'm actually going to show you next is just an example of the type of work that you can actually do from the Postgres data. Especially when you're working in a large organisation where Tableau's been widely implemented, you don't always have the luxury of setting your dashboards into loads of different projects. I've previously worked in a company that you only had one project folder, and every single one of your dashboards, that your whole entire team, had to be placed in there, which makes it really, really confusing for your stakeholders to find what they're looking for. So what we actually did was we built a navigation dashboard. Now, all of the data that's actually used to build the navigation dashboard is taken from the Postgres data source. In order for it to work properly, we had to create a specific tagging structure, and it was that data that we then used to allow each of our dashboards to be split up into different segments. So what a user would do is they would be given this dashboard, and they would then click into one of the different areas, and it would take them to a screen similar to this, where you had your dashboard name, when it was actually created, when the data was last updated, so you know how relevant it actually is. You can hover over the little arrow, which will give you a wee bit more information about what's in the dashboard, and you can easily click through to the dashboard. Now, you can customize it as much as you want. You can put as many filters and search functionality and things like that in it. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.